Thank you for joining us today. So we have some questions for Kamruz. So Kamruz, can you tell us in your mind what Jamstack is?
Hey, Akshay, good to be speaking to you about Jamstack, especially after all of the recent conferences and all of the big buzz around Jamstack and all technologies related to it, right? So Jamstack, it's been getting extremely popular over the past few years. It's been around for about 5 years, 6 years now. And Jamstack itself, it's not a thing that you buy. It's an architectural principle, and the principle is that you essentially generate your website, you pre-generate your website, so that when you serve it to your customers and your visitors, it's extremely quick. There's no processing. It's almost like it's going back 20 years in its paradigm, right? You and I are both old enough to remember the days before, or the early days of like ASP.NET, right? And the early days of the web. And a lot of those times we were just developing websites in pure HTML, some CSS and some JavaScript, usually using like HTML tables and things, and very bad, crude designs. But they were extremely quick because all you were doing is just serving static assets that you would log into somewhere and FTP drop into. So with Jamstack, what you're doing, you're going back to those basics, those old principles, and then you're somehow, whatever technology you're using, generating static resources that are then that then serve extremely quickly, and then can be scaled as well, almost infinitely, because of its simplicity and its nature. It uses CDNs in the background, so you don't need to worry about. You can have build systems built in that you don't need to set up separately. So Jamstack is an architectural principle. Said it's not a thing that you buy, but the end goal is just to generate static files, right? HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
Yeah, and then you hear about everyone talking about the Composable Digital Experience Platform, Composable DXP, all over the place. It's the hottest hashtag on the market. So, like in your view, what is Composable DXP?
So Composable DXP builds on top of the Jamstack principles. So Jamstack is a layer where you're generating the markup, but part of that Jamstack is the A and the J, right? So the A stands for APIs, and they're like endpoints that you can consume data from. And then you need something to glue the M together from Jamstack, which is the markup, the HTML we just talked about. And that glue is JavaScript. So JavaScript is essentially the messenger boy who's running between your markup and your APIs, and then putting those all together. The Composable DXP is bringing together lots of different systems. So you might have an email system, you might have a separate CRM system, you might have some separate CDP, customer data platform, or analytics systems, separate e-commerce system. You need all of these systems to talk to each other in a simple way, and that's what the Composable DXP is. You're composing all of these to work as one unit. And it's just following the same Jamstack principles, right? You're using API endpoints from each of these systems, and then you're using the JavaScript to bring them all together. It sounds complex when it's brought together, and this is where experience helps. It's a different way of working, and it's a different way of thinking as well. So I think there is a learning curve involved, moving from what we would class as a traditional monolith system where everything is in one and it's all server based, and moving to this modern Jamstack and API and even serverless based systems.
And the best part of all of this is you get to pick the best vendor in each of those spaces. So email system, find the best one which works for you, right?
Yep.
Best of breed of everything.
Exactly. You can use whatever systems are best going to work for you. You may already be using some of these systems internally. You might not have a choice of who your CRM provider is. You may already have an internal system that you use for commerce, right? A lot of manufacturers, for example, would use SAP. So do you want to put in another commerce system in front of SAP, or do you leverage something that's already built into some of those platforms you already have? So it gives you choice, it gives you variety, and it saves rework, right? It saves having to
reusability as well. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And I know we've been doing Jamstack stuff for the past couple of years, and glad to be ahead of the curve. So thanks again, Camrose.
Yeah, it's been a great learning curve as well. Great learning. It's been on the cards, right? It's been on the horizon that the market is moving this way, and I think one of the other important aspects of the Jamstack and the composability is, for a lot of clients, they don't want everything in that one monolithic product, right? They might not be using the analytics features fully, or they might not need that personalization feature right now. They might want it in a few months or a few years as they have become a bit more accustomed to using these systems. So why would I pay for those elements that I don't want to use right now? I might as well reduce my complexity, reduce my costs, and then just buy the pieces that I need right now, and then build up on that over time. So that's how I've been seeing it with some of our customers, and that's what they're loving about being able to do that. They might not know what that piece they need right now is, and those needs will change in a year's time, 2 years time, when they actually need to implement those features.
Yeah, that's great insight. See you again later, Camrose.
All right, speak to you soon.